Good morning. Community partners, state representatives, parents, school leaders, and fellow students. Welcome. My name is Ava Susong, and I am in 5th grade at Central Elementary. I am a part of Central's Student Lighthouse team and Student Council. I also enjoy being a part of 4-H and playing basketball and doing dance. We are honored to have you at the 2018 State of Lebanon Community School Corporation. Today, you will learn about many exciting things happening in our schools. But first, please look around the room. The support of our community is one of our biggest strengths. We have approximately 100 guests here today. Education is a community effort, and each of you play an important role in my experience and the experience of my classmates. Thank you for being here for us. Now I would like to introduce Ayana, Alexa, Timba, and Brendan from Hattie B. Stokes Elementary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can everybody please stand up? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You guys may be seated. And now can you repeat after us? We are going to do the Hattie B. Stokes Life Goal Pledge. I will treat people right even if I don't feel like it.
I will treat people right, even if I don't feel like it.
I will do the right thing, even if I don't feel like it.
I will do the right thing, even if I don't feel like it.
My willpower is stronger than what I think or how I feel.
My willpower is stronger than what I think or how I feel.
Oh, I'm smarter than I think I am.
I am smarter than I think I am.
All things are possible.
All things are possible.
Good news is coming my way.
Good news is coming my way.
Thank you.
Thank you, and once again, thank you for being here this morning. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Robert Taylor, Superintendent of LCSC.
Good morning. I think I'll just sit down and leave it at that. I appreciate everyone taking a few minutes out of a rainy Friday to come join us in what we now have dubbed as our State of the Schools annual address. And truly, it's not only an opportunity for us to showcase and to brag, but to also share with our community partners, our critical staff, and a lot of our students what Lebanon Community Schools is all about. We are the future. And the future that comes to us is not the future that came to public schools a long time ago. And as we know, students today require, demand, and need every ounce of innovation, creativity, and high-flying effort, and medical support that we can make. Okay? No good deed goes unpunished. No innovation goes challenged. But, you all right? So sorry. Our focus, though, was to share with you what Lebanon Community School Corporation has become. What innovations that we have in place, and what programs, initiatives, and activities that we now have to offer our students. That in turn will benefit our communities our state, our country, and indeed our future. We're very proud of what we have here at Lebanon Community Schools. And that pride starts with those students that we have, and those faculty members, and those community members, and those parents that we all consider to be part of the Lebanon Community School Corporation family. So certainly I need to start with giving thanks. I sincerely am appreciative of Ava Susong's work. To stand in front of a group of over 100 people, some her peers, some her instructors, some she doesn't know, and to present herself in such a professional and outstanding presentation deserves our thanks. I want to thank Mr. Conrad and the Lebanon High School Music Department, Mr. Randy Gustafson, who was our accompanist on the piano today, and two of our students, Cindy Kirkman and Garrett Rowe. Just a fine example of how we provide way beyond just the academic instruction, but we attempt to enrich and provide opportunity in everything from fine arts to athletics to civic responsibility. I want to thank Jim McEwen, assistant principal at the middle school, and Jason Lorch, for the robotics teams. And I hope you have a chance to come up and see what the robotics display is all about. And what we've moved from, as we used to have just industrial arts, and taking a wood project and turning it into a birdhouse used to be success. Now we create electronics and turn them into automation, artificial intelligence, and robotics. I want to thank Wade Thatcher, who is the man responsible for all of the technology that we have here today. Wade helps manage and facilitate. We will record this and provide this for those that aren't able to join us. So Wade does a phenomenal job. And I also want to thank, and I ask to stand, all of our Hattie B. Stokes student ambassadors. If you had any doubt, yes, nice one. Okay. If you had any doubt about the future of our country, concerned about what the youth of today will be able to provide us for tomorrow, all you had to do was spend a bit of time or stand back and observe these young men and women from Hattie B. Stokes, our Lebanon High School students, our students from Central or the middle school or Harney or Perry Worth, and you see that our future is very bright. And as I come today to speak, very briefly, I'll talk about some challenges and some concerns, and I'll talk about some issues that we have to deal with, but everything I say, the good and the bad, is all based on the knowledge that the future that we have in our school corporation and the future we have in our community is in good hands. And so again, a nice round of applause for all of our student entertainers, our ambassadors, and our speakers, please. I would also like to acknowledge we have some representatives today that have joined us from our partners. Coming from some of our representatives, both at the national and the state level. We have Ms. Mary Ann Black, who's representing Joe Donnelly. Ms. Black, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the work that Senator Donnelly does. We also have Thomas Barclay, Representative Senator Todd Young, and Jonathan Mathis is representing Congressman Todd Rakita. So please extend our thanks and appreciation to those individuals and our representatives. We thank you. I also would be remiss if I didn't recognize our community partners. I know we have Chief Batts here and Deputy Chief Wiry. We have representatives, we did have from the utility. Unfortunately, they apparently went to the nurse. But we have representatives from a number of our community organizations, from Boone County Health, from different organizations, too many to really acknowledge, and that's a great thing. I don't apologize because I can't remember everybody, because I celebrate the fact that there are so many partners that it's tough to keep them all in mind. But there is one group here that I do want to thank. We have representatives of our PTOs. And I can tell you again, as part of our success stories, that we have seen and are blessed with a rise in the activity that our parent-teacher organizations bring to each one of our schools. And so we are appreciative of the fact that they're here today, as well as our community partners. We have city councilmen here today that we want to thank. We have a great partnership with our local government. And while Mayor Gentry was not able to join us today, or our town manager Dax Norton at Whitestown, they had other duties that called him away, they both sent me complimentary messages of appreciation for the Lebanon Community School Corporation and the work that we do, that I have to extend that compliment back to them as leaders in our two very diverse communities, that they have embraced Lebanon Community Schools and in fact have enhanced what we're able to do. Maybe you noticed here as we came into the high school, you noticed street signs that were of the black and gold with the logo of the tiger. Mayor Gentry and the council have taken that on to help recognize our community, to highlight the pathways to our schools with those street signs, and we're very appreciative of that. And if you're ever down on the Whitestown Parkway, you've seen many times Mr. Norton and his office there in Whitestown have put up notices of celebration, whether it's through individual accomplishments of our students or national or state recognition that some of our schools receive, or they just fly our flag and say proudly, we are glad to have Lebanon Community Schools serve our community. So I want to extend that. I also want to acknowledge our school board members. We have our president, Ms. Liz Keith, is with us today, and I appreciate their leadership and guidance. For a person that lives and dies with a school board, I am glad to say that I am honored and blessed to have a school board that is committed to children and doing what's best. And when you have a governing body that looks through all their decisions with that lens, great things happen. And that's where we're at today. But we're a very large organization. We have 447 employees. We have over 3,500 students. And on any given day, we have almost 10,000 people that come in and out of our 6 school buildings, our administrative center, and our support facilities. 10,000 people. The high school alone, on a given year, we may have up to 400,000 people come in and out of our school here. And this is their impression of our community. Not just our school system, but our community. And I'm proud to say that it is a very good first impression. And I don't care if you come to our high school, or you go to one of our elementary schools, or you attend an event at the middle school. We at Lebanon Community Schools hold very seriously the responsibilities that we have to be a good economic development indicator for our community. Not just to provide a solid education and a safe and secure location for the young men and women that will make our future, but we are also a contributor to our communities. And we're proud that we're able to do that. You know, we're a large organization, and every now and then, as a superintendent, you may not realize this, but I hear from some people. Some people I hear from, not so good. Some people I hear from make me smile. Some people I hear from make me think. But I got a letter just the other day, and with that letter came a postcard. I'd like to share it with you. And you can see on the screen, Dear Superintendent, good morning. I hope this letter brightens your day. I was at an antique store here and found this old circa 1914 picture card of your beautiful school. It's an old-time classic for sure. So I said to myself, by golly, I think I'll send it home where it can be appreciated. Our heritage is important to us all and should be preserved. Lots of changes, I suppose, too. Enlarged and posted in the right location, it may cause some nice conversation. Well, I gave $6 for it. So if you want to send 7 or 8 or 9, that would be okay. And throw in a little postage if you want to. My wife is laughing at me. She says, if I hear from you, I'll have to take her to lunch. I'm 89 years old and still going strong. I call this little hobby my redistribution of happiness. Our world sure needs it. Thanks, Godspeed, and have a super good 2018. Lowell Yorg, 6275, apartment 25, Stockton, California. P.S. I picked your place off the net. I figure I could trust you folks. Also, I wrote it before and forgot, so please forgive me. So here's a card. I was impressed. I think this is Memory Hall. I don't know if it's Lindbergh. But on the back, we were able to read Lebanon, Indiana, August 22nd, 1914. And it says the building opposite is where and we can't figure that out because back then they taught cursive writing, and so I can't understand it because we don't teach cursive now, is being something, yours, D.C., Miss Etha Judd Ray, Indy. So I thought, wow. I smiled. I looked at it. I chuckled. 89 years old, Stockton, California. I don't know if it's a citizen. I don't know if it's a guy just wanting lunch money, but he got my attention. So I took a minute and I wrote him back. So on our letterhead with our new logo, I said, Dear Mr. Jorg, I am in receipt of your letter and accompanying postcard of the Lebanon, Indiana High School. What a delightful surprise and thoughtful gesture. I think that your kind consideration clearly qualifies as a redistribution of happiness. I believe that the postcard is a photo rendition of the original Lebanon City High School. Today, the building has been converted into a senior living apartment complex, but it is still referred to as the Old Lebanon High School or Memory Hall. I have included a photo of the current Lebanon High School for your comparison. There's just a little difference that has happened over the last 104 years. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the community of Lebanon. We are a suburban community located just north of Indianapolis. I've been the superintendent here for 12 years and was the middle school principal before that. It is a wonderful school system with a student body and teaching staff that makes me very proud. If you ever just want to get away from all of the bad news and worries of today's world, all you need to do is stop by my office for a cup of coffee, and I will show you firsthand that the future is good in the hands with the young men and women that attend Lebanon Community Schools. While you were able to bring a small reminder of the past to my office, it's reassuring that our future brings a smile to my face as well. Thank you again. Now, you made mention of some reimbursement, which I'm glad to do. But on the postage, I saw there was a 1-cent stamp on the card. So here's a few bucks for both the card, a little extra for help you cover the cost of lunch that you promised your wife, and because of the postage, I'm throwing in a penny as well. Lowell, keep making the world a happy place with your redistribution of happiness. Sincerely, Robert L. Taylor. So Miss Melanie Beltran, thank you. Melanie, who is my right hand and do and die and everything, took the letter. We put a $20 bill in there, taped a penny on it, and sent it to Mr. Jorg in Stockton, California. So he knows the Lebanon Community School Corporation, a place that he found a postcard for in an antique store in California, is today, as I'm sure it was in 1914, a school corporation that's appreciative for what we have and celebrates many of the great things. So I thought I would just share that with you. It's kind of one of the things. I've got a lot of other letters I'd be glad to share, but we'd have to ask the kids to leave because sometimes the language in them is not that good. But nonetheless, it makes me feel good. We are a school corporation, as I said, that handles thousands and thousands of young people. No more precious commodity in this community, this state, or this nation than the young men and women that comprise the business of education that we deal with every day. But we are still a business. And so, as a point of that fact, in the guides that we've placed, and I give full credit to Ms. Jen Totterud, our Director of Public Relations and Marketing, for putting together our annual report, I would encourage you to take time to look that over, take it with you. But on pages 2 and 3 are a lot of the facts and figures. I think you'll find them extremely interesting. One from the standpoint of what fiscal obligations we're challenged with, but also what programming that we have and what we're able to provide. Lebanon Community School Corporation is a tax-supported public education entity. I love public education. I honor all education, but what we're able to provide our students, what our taxpayers are able to provide as far as financial support is critical. And I'm very proud and would be remiss if I didn't point out one very important figure in that reading, and that is our tax rate. We just received notification from the Indiana state government that our approved tax rate this year is 94 cents. And how does that rate? That means for every $100,000 that your property is valued, residential or commercial, the tax rates you're charged for education in your community is 94 cents. If you look, we have some comparisons that you can see that that information has consistently trended down. The return on investment that the taxpayers make in Lebanon Community Schools continues to be high. Now, if I were the kind of superintendent that wanted to poke fun of some of my peers, I could point that there are corporations within driving distance that is $1.86, $1.94, $1.32. I'll let you figure out which corporations they are. But for Lebanon Community Schools to provide the quality and the excellence that they provide at a tax rate that's listed at that amount is to be commended. And that comes as a result of a lot of effort, a lot of planning, and a lot of thoughtful management of our facilities. And while we hate to put a dollar sign on what we do for children, it is a reality of what we do. It is a reality of what we do. But I just wanted to say thank you to our community, our partners, and most importantly, our staff and administration, because they're the ones that help to contribute to all of the facets that go into putting together a budget. And so at this time, I would simply like, and we have a number here, if I could ask our administrators and staff that are present, if you could please stand for what is a rare but well-deserved moment of recognition for the work you do. We have teachers, principals, and administrators from our office here. They are the future as well. They're what bring a smile to my face. Sometime in the next 100 years, the superintendent of Lebanon Community School Corporation is going to receive a postcard with a picture of Mr. O'Rourke on it. They found that somewhere in an antique store. They're going to send it to the superintendent. They're going to say, I found this picture of your high school principal, thought you would want it. And I would hope they would be the same response of pride and admiration that I have for a picture postcard of our building, because Mr. O'Rourke simply is a reflection of every single building administrator, every single classroom teacher, every bus driver, every food service worker, every custodian, every law enforcement officer that's here every day with only one purpose in mind: to make sure our children have the best and safest educational experience possible. So we're very fortunate that we have those. You know, Lebanon Community Schools, we serve two very diverse communities. Our school name would lend you to think we only serve one, but we serve two communities. We are proud to be the public education providers for Lebanon, Indiana, and Whitestown, Indiana. Two very diverse, but yet rapidly growing communities. Lebanon has transitioned from the small-town, agrarian-based community that was decades ago to a thriving, innovative, creative, suburban community that supports a number of households where families work outside. Whitestown, I think in the time from Ava's introduction to my point now, they've probably put a new building up somewhere. But they are rapidly growing. They are innovative. They are an integral part of what we do. From those students that attend our Perryworth Elementary School to those Whitestown residents that come to our middle school and high school, we are all one Lebanon Community School Corporation family. But we're blessed with the diversity that we have that comes from our communities. And so we celebrate that. And while there's lots of information and we constantly look at data, I think a couple of things that are very important to note are, in this morning's reporter, there are a couple of stories that I want to share that you should read. Developers announce 293 new homes. That's here in Center Township. There's another story in the paper that you can read. Whitestown continues their growth into 2017 and to 2018 and goes on to list 312 permits were issued for construction. I've been in this community when Lebanon Community Schools Building and Trades Program was the only residential builder at one house a year in our community. So what I'm here to say today is, well, I'm all about the future. Our future is bright as a school corporation, as our communities are. We are growing. And with growth comes many challenges, but many benefits. And so we embrace the growth of Whitestown. The growth of Whitestown, where the average age of the homeowners there is below 30 years. Now, for a guy whose business thrives with kids, the average age being 29 and not 69 is good news, because that means we have an opportunity to capture and to educate students that have not even been born yet. And we're excited with that challenge. And here in Lebanon, where our average age is a little older, though, we are seeing families that want to move here. Every day, counselors, principals, and teachers share with me a family that came through the door. We want to move here. Having trouble finding a house, but we really hear good things. And with those good things, then insert school program, facility appearance, something. And so they're looking to move here. So it's good for me to share that Lebanon Community School Corporation, like our two communities that we serve, is not only growing, but it's prospering. It's being responsive, and it's being proactive. And those are things that I think are important to share very quickly with you. I'm a third-generation school superintendent. I think some of you know that. My grandfather, my father were Hoosier school superintendents. My dad's my hero. He's passed away a long time ago, but he's the reason I'm here before you today. Well, the school board is, but he's the reason I want to be a superintendent. But I often think what my grandfather, my father would think of education today. They would be amazed and shocked. They would be proud. They would be encouraging. But one of the challenges we have today, and it's sad that we have to kind of talk about this, is, for my grandfather, the biggest issue of security he had to probably deal with was who was going to tip over the outhouse. For my dad, which boys were smoking unfiltered Camels in the boys' bathroom. For me, who's going to come and attack our students and our staff. I worry about lines of fire in sight, evacuation, protection. That's a reality. And while we are all saddened by the latest school violence, and unfortunately the reality today is that we have to be aware of that, I, like literally tens of thousands of educators around the country, extend a condolences to those impacted by last week's shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. The young men and women at Stoneman Douglas, be it staff, students, support workers, face challenges that are faced here at this school and every one of our schools every day. So in order to be responsive, we have to be attentive to how do we continue to look at that. It would be so nice if we could just come and work with the young men and women that come to our school every day on exciting things like robotics or art or math or science or language arts or social studies, but we can't. We have to also look at other things. And so one of the things I want to share with you today is we are very sensitive to that. But I will leave you very reassured that we are in a community, communities, plural, that have extensive and engaged and dedicated partnerships with not only our local governments and those civics organizations that support us, but with law enforcement, fire, and first responders in the medical field. I know each chief by first name. They know me. Whether it's fire, law enforcement, whether it's just a newly hired road officer or fireman, they all know Lebanon Community Schools because they've been here. And without judging anyone's performance, I have no doubt that every single first responder in our communities is dedicated, committed, and focused on being at this facility or any facility to provide the protection necessary. Another thing that my grandparents and my dad would be shocked is that I have my own police department. We're very fortunate, very pleased to have our own SRO department. Chief Steve Smith, Officer Hendricks, and the newest addition, our third officer, Officer Scott Abbott, are those first-line responders. But they work hand in hand with the community. So it's just not one or two or three people that take the safety and security of your children to heart. It's a full community. But they would be shocked that a school system today has to have their own police force, but we do. But to be responsive goes beyond just having boots on the ground and people in the buildings and good relationships. It goes with having the opportunity to engage everyone in the process of making sure students and staff are safe. So I want to share with you today that just today, we are activating something that's very important to us. And we basically want to leave you with this when you leave. Boys and girls, men and women, partners, if you see something, say something. Social media today is so far outreaching that it's impossible for us to monitor. The time when somebody came into class on Monday and said, so-and-so said my mom wears army boots and that's what we had to deal with is long over. Comments, threats, concerns are 24/7, 365. And so we also have, through this, in the last several weeks, unrolled an application that you can put on your smartphone. And I would encourage each of you, before you leave today, if you have not downloaded this app, please do. One, it's very informative, it's entertaining, it's enlightening, a lot of photos of kids, a lot of information about our schools. But on this app, we have installed an anonymous tip line. So no matter who you are, whether you want to share your name or not, if you see something, say something, and that tip will then be immediately sent to the appropriate individual or individuals. And so while standing up here and talking about all the wonderful things we have, I certainly didn't count or plan on talking about a tip line. I think it just demonstrates once again how responsive your school system is. So there's no charge for this. There's no effort other than take out your smartphone, hit the icon with LCSC app, and if you have something to share, share. Now, if you have something good to say, like Lowell did, please do that as well. But we wanted you to know, and we want the communities to know, that here at Lebanon Community Schools, we take very seriously our responsibility for safe and secure facilities, for safe and secure programs, and for safe and secure students and staff. So we're pleased to share with you this app, and I would encourage each of you, you can go to, help me here, Jen, you can go to the App Store, Apple, or you can go to Google, and download that. So we would encourage you to do that. But and also being proactive, I want to share real quickly that we have started a process last year of strategic planning. And under the guidance of Dr. Wally Burke from Indiana University, a longtime Indiana educator and now an active member of the faculty at Indiana University, came to us and helped us form a core planning team. And that core planning team spent several weeks, months, and days and hours last year in working towards a strategic plan. We do not operate day to day. We facilitate operations day to day, but our operations are built on future planning, are built on future needs. The little drone issue gone awry was to demonstrate that this morning I got online, and in one online job placement service website, there were 140 job advertisements for drone pilots, with salaries ranging from $28,000 to $140,000. So what we're doing in our strategic planning is we're looking at three key areas. Three key areas that just don't address reading, writing, and arithmetic. What books do we pick? What computers do we pick? But we address through our goals and through our actions and through our planning how we prepare these students for the future. We manage the day, we plan for the future. And that's where we go. Our three visions are fairly broad, but they allow us that opportunity to work with kids. So with the core planning team, and there were a number of faculty, staff, and community members who served on that core planning team, who were very instrumental in developing these goals. And what we will do with these three goals is now this year we will build on those and expand them. We will add specifics. We will add benchmarks and levels of accountability. And where necessary, I always get nervous when I hear that sound. If necessary, we'll make adjustments based on what the society influences we have to face. Our first goal is to implement a diverse and dynamic pre-K-12 learning experience that serves the needs and interests of our children. In 2017, 93.4% of our students, our seniors at the high school here, graduated. And 41.9, or 42% of those students graduated with academic honors. We are about academics. We're also about, as you can see and as evidenced by our young people here today, we're about developing the skills that are necessary to be successful. Not just academically successful, but successful in life. And if you shook the hand of more than one student, that's helping them develop the skills that are going to help them be successful. So we have everything from advanced placement programs. In fact, I want to point out that Lebanon High School had a finalist in the 2017 Advanced Placement Teacher Investment Program. Mr. Mike Dollins was recognized as the 2017 Science Teacher of the Year. And so Mr. Dollins is to be held up as a fine example of the instructional quality we have in every single one of our classrooms. And so while Mr. Dollins is to be complimented for that, let me tell you what I'm more impressed with. Yesterday I sent out about 20 personal invitations to staff members to join me in a forum to discuss safety and security. And Mr. Dollins was one of those individuals. So here's a man that built his career teaching science. But yet at 6:52 this morning he responded with, "I would be honored to do that." And so while he is a science teacher by trade, he's a Lebanon Community School Corporation educator by heart. And we have a number of those incidents that I can share. We're with a diverse curriculum from everywhere from instructing in film to food service, to health cares and building trades, to over more than 100 hours of dual credit opportunities. We are building a responsive program of educational opportunities, not courses, opportunities, that our students from pre-K, and even before that with our partnership with BASE, the young men and women that go through that, we work on getting them into the right frame of preparation to be successful. Our second goal is to promote and sustain a culture of continuous improvement and innovation. Now let's face it, that's great educationalese. It sounds good. It rolls off the tongue. But what are we really talking about? We're talking about ensuring that our programs, our classrooms, our teachers are all prepared to make sure our students are prepared if they want to be a drone pilot. You know, the fact of the matter is, we're attempting to prepare our students for jobs that don't even exist as we sit here today. I would not even venture a guess as to what opportunities our kindergarten students will have when they graduate. I tried to ask Alexa, she wouldn't tell me. But that's another example of what our students do. From coding to robotics to still applying personal skills into the world of fine arts. We want to be innovative and we want to be creative and we want to continue to improve. We're looking at makerspace, providing those opportunities for our middle school students where they can take entrepreneurial skills they've learned in the classroom and apply them to real-day activities, real-life activities, and allow them to be more than just an academic classroom experience, but to have a life experience that will help them. The internships that we allow our juniors, and we don't allow, we're blessed that our community partners provide the opportunities for our internships, is once again an example of how they are there to provide real-life preparation. And our third goal, engage and empower the community to understand the importance and relevance of Lebanon Community School Corporation in improving our quality of life. You've heard me talk a number of times this morning in appreciation for our partners. And we need those partners. And so as a result of that, hopefully many of you have heard of what we call our PRIDE initiative. PRIDE is an acronym that represents the characteristics that over the last number of years we've heard from our community members, our employers, our businesses, our local leaders, our state leaders, and even our federal government leaders, of the characteristics that we need our young people to have when they come into the workforce. And through PRIDE, we're really attempting to redefine success. For decades, success of a school system was only counted in the terms of how many kids go to college. That no longer is true about success. We have students that must and will go to college. We have a National Merit Scholar finalist in our graduating class. representing academic achievement that's only accomplished by less than 1% of all the students in the United States. But we have students that every day that go into the workforce. They go working with our partners, whether it's utilities, whether it's local business. And so we count on the community members, but we want to be responsive to what their needs. So employers can come to us and say, look, we're needing to see these skills. The workplace is changing so rapidly, we don't need you to teach the skills. We need you to teach students about how to learn the skills. And that's what pride is. Perseverance, responsibility, initiative, dependability, and efficiency. And so this is an initiative we started this year in all 6 schools. Maybe a little different in each school, but that's okay. Each school is a little different. But the Pride Initiative is growing from the classroom, resonating in the schools, and is evident in the school corporation. And I will tell you one example that makes me know we're having some success. It was in a local establishment here in the community. Middle school student that I am aware of held the door open. I don't think it's because I got gray hair, but it's because they're learning appropriate social skills and behaviors. I hear more please and thank yous now. You heard Ava. Confident. Her delivery, her presence, her presentation. If you shook hands again with our ambassadors from Stokes, I'm telling you, you go to any one of our 6 schools, you'll see evidence of pride. You'll see that we're just not teaching academics. We just don't have outstanding academic content educators. We have teachers and staff members and administrators and community members that understand the importance of preparing our young people. Not so much to solve an algebra problem. And if you don't sit in the back of the room, but you're in the front 2/3 of the room, if I were to ask you to tell me if a train left Chicago at 10:05 traveling 65 miles an hour and one left Indianapolis at 11:05 traveling 84 miles an hour, what time would they meet in Lafayette? You would all get out your cell phones and see what the train schedule was. But that's an old concept of how we did math. But you know what? That's okay, because cell phones are what we have today. And we want to make sure we teach our kids for that. So our vision for success, to share with you, the State of Lebanon Community School Corporations is good. We're growing. I'm pleased to share today, in addition to the reported new additions that we have here in the paper, that Lebanon Community School Corporation is entering into a public-private partnership with Lanier Builders, the largest builder in the United States. That we have a letter of intent to sell land that we own next to the middle school, where they planned to build a community of homes in the $230,000 to $300,000 range. And the reason they're doing that, and the reason they wanted to build close to the school, is because of the school system. And so I hope to announce that that's a final deal. Our board's aware of it. The community is aware of it. In fact, our mayor's office here has been very helpful with that, with Mr. LePage and Matt Gentry. But that's the kind of growth that we're experiencing. And we're ready to respond to that growth. Now, I received a message recently from a homeowners association. How can you handle all this growth? Well, I'm glad to say we've anticipated this for 20 years. So for the last 10, we've been planning on it. And we're positioned well with our facilities and our capacity to handle additional students. Here at the high school, we could easily take another 300 to 500 students without any issues of overcrowding. At our middle school, we could expand by 200 students. We may have to redistrict. We may have to reconfigure some grades. But I'm telling you, we are well positioned to handle the growth we have. And so anticipating the growth and knowing specifically what our community, our state, our country needs as far as the future preparation of our students, I'm here to share with you that I'm confident that through all the challenges, all the potential heartbreaks, all of the bads in the world, it's far outweighed by the goodness and the great things that are happening here in our school system. I didn't stand up here just to give you a feel-good discussion. I'm here today to represent what I believe at the bottom of my heart and at the top of my professional expertise to be the accomplishments, the potential, the opportunity that your community school system will provide our children. Those that are with us today in class, those that make us proud because of their pride, but those that have yet to cross our doors, those that maybe aren't even born yet. We are building a school system. We are establishing a commitment to children, to community, to families, that puts us in great shape. And I, for that, am very appreciative of that. I want to thank everyone for coming. And I'll leave you with one last example. If you all think back to your physical education teacher, which I was one at one point, I could roll out dodgeballs better than any PE teacher anywhere. I could lead jumping jacks. And that's what PE was, right? Most of us didn't want to shower. A lot of us figured out there was 5 different ways to make an excuse to not go there. But the PE teacher was someone, we kind of liked them because they really weren't that strict, and there was no homework in PE, but we're there. Let me tell you about our PE teacher in our 2 elementary schools. Tyler Stops. Tyler's a new teacher. Just started with us, I believe, last year, year before last. Tyler breaks the mold of any perception you might have about what a PE teacher is. I'm going to challenge you to get on YouTube. Type in Tyler or type in 100th day of school, and you will get a number of YouTube videos that he's put together to help his students work through not only the process of wellness and physical fitness, but engages them in the activities of learning, challenges them to go beyond the classroom, engages them with physical activity and mental activity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Lebanon Community Schools is all about. So whether it's a drone mission that's gone a little awry, or whether it's a YouTube video from a PE teacher that gets our kids up and moving and counting and learning, or whether it's a simple handshake from a 10-year-old that says welcome, all of those are evident every day here in our school system. All of those are the result of the classroom teacher, the bus driver, the custodian, that individual that gives their life, their passion, and their expertise to making sure that this community has the best school system that we can provide. So I want to thank you again for coming today. We're preparing to deal with the issues of today, but we are so glad that we're able to address what the future is. So I thank you very much for the time. I want to again extend a few thanks here. Ms. Jen Totterud is our marketing and public relations, along with Aaron Bond, who helped set the room up here. I also want to thank Jennifer Rice. I said, if you feed people, bring in toys and kids, everybody's going to show up. They don't care what I say, right? But encourage you to stay around and meet some of the kids, some of the staff that are here, enjoy some of the great refreshments that have been provided, and leave knowing your children and indeed your future are in good hands. So thank you very much. I think we have just a couple of minutes. Is there a question or two I can answer? Thank you. At this time, it's my pleasure. I'd like to introduce our Lebanon Community School Board President, Ms. Liz Keith. And the work she does in leading the governing body of our community schools is to be admired. They are as much responsible for our fiscal stability as well as our educational program as anyone. It's my pleasure to work with that group. So Ms. Keith, please.
Good morning. Thank you. I'd just like to take a moment, too, to thank Dr. Taylor for his leadership. As you can see, it's just innumerable, the number of things that he has to keep track of on a daily basis, and he excels in keeping all of those things going and keeping our school district in the excellent place that it is. So if you could please thank Dr. Taylor with me, I'd appreciate that. As president of the school board and also a parent of 3 students in LCSC, I'm very grateful for our school staff who are here today and many who are back in the buildings, keeping those things flowing, and our community. Thank you to all of you for being here today. It's those partnerships that really make our school unique. I hear that from other communities, that they don't have the partnerships that we have as far as internships and people coming into our building and pouring into our kids. Other communities don't benefit from that the way we do, so thank you very much, and just you taking the time to be here this morning is wonderful, so thank you. Our exhibitors, I know we've mentioned this, but if you haven't had a chance to visit the robotics table, I know there are some students who would love to show you all the great things that they've done. They're back there smiling right now. Also, our ambassadors from Hattie B. Stokes, thank you. And the artwork over here is from Harney Elementary and Perry Worth, so please take some time to look at those items as well. So thank you again. We plan to do this again next year, so please join us. Thank you very much.